I Shalom, I say call Lord Wahawala, was all President Gordon Hebrew to Yahweh, Bashem, Yamashai, Bashem, Karkadash, Tamas Pastor, us, great missile, and bless God, the lake. A few sisters and Islam foreigners is waking up to the truth, and it's going to come out here from the GMS Cleveland branch, come at you with another lesson, alright, and it's news update, alright, oh, matter of fact, I forgot to type that in. Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, so this is the topic, the situation that's happening with Iran and U.S. All right, as they're having talks or discussions about, the nuclear program deal. U.S. is speaking on behalf of Israel. All right, as far as the nuclear program, which they've been saying this shit for decades, man. All right, Iran can't have a nuclear missile. Everybody can have a nuclear missile except Iran, right? And then the U.S. is speaking for Israel and trying to negotiate, Iran, a peace deal between a peace deal. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna go to it. I'm just gonna go to it because I've got to pull some of this stuff up. Okay, it says as of February 2026, U.S. and Iran are engaged in intense indirect negotiations medicated by Oman, aiming for a new permanent nuclear deal project to replace the 2025. The negotiations come from high tensions and gives a breakdown of the deal both sides are aiming to achieve. President Trump is seeking a stronger and permanent deal that ensures Iran cannot produce nuclear weapons, following earlier U.S. operations that damaged Iran's nuclear sites. Zero enrichment, stockpile movement. Washington seeks to remove Iran's enrichment. The border scope U.S. wants to include restrictions on Iran. The deal must be permanent and not temporary, according to the White House. Tehran is looking for a deal that ensures its economic survival and recognizes its right to a civil nuclear program. Sanctions release. Primary objective is to remove a crippling U.S. sanctions. So they put sanctions on Iran, particularly those affecting its oil exports and banking sectors. Right to enrich. Shutdown. So it's mainly about the shutdown the nuclear. It's to stop Iran from achieving nuclear missiles, man. Which, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't surprised they already got one. Alright, they is being backed up by Russia. Okay, they have a trade deals, Iran and Russia. Iran gives Russia oil and Russia gives Iran weapons. Okay, so that's what the fucking deal is all about, man. Right? Because Israel is so fucking scared that they're gonna be, wiped off the map by Iran. Through that, them having those weapons. But really, it's just Iran just defending themselves against these U.S. and Israel. Okay, and the real deep reason why is Iran. They want to stop Iran. So for supposedly not having nuclear missiles because Iran is one of the few last of those countries over there in the Middle East that does not deal with the central banking system. All right, and they don't prescribe to the ways of America, Babylon the Great. You know, they still, which they was it Islam is their fucking religion. Okay, and Islam is strong adversary against the Western ways, man. The ways of small hats too, you know, because they believe in a lot of the old traditional ways in the biblical times where women's supposed to be, you know, dressed from head to toe, not being a whore. You know, men are the heads of the household. That is just all goes against the you know, the way the Western ways. Okay, you know, and like I said, it's the money system too, because he wants to get the whole world, all the nations, you know, under him. All right, in this new world order. All right, but let me just play this, and I talked to him. I'm gonna play this video and then his scriptures. All right.
So it looks like the United States and Iran have concluded their talks for now. They will continue to talk and continue to negotiate even next week. But according to reports, there was progress made. It says the U.S. and Iran nuclear talks were positive, according to U.S. senior officials. I want to read a little this to you. It says, a senior U.S. official told Axios that talks were positive, but did not immediately provide additional details. It says the meeting was seen by many in the Trump administration as a last chance for diplomacy before President Trump decides whether to launch a war. Right now, the United States is finalizing their military buildup, and according to experts, this is just a matter of days that we could see a war happen this weekend. Again, we heard that last weekend. We've heard that for the past several weeks, but they're saying this weekend. It is very likely because even though there are talks scheduled for next week, what is happening, according to reports, is that Iran is just delaying the inevitable. Iran is trying to build up their own military force so that if the United States does attack, Iran can respond. Even Israel is a little bit concerned here as well. But listen to this.
Imagine getting back 4 hours every single week.
So every Friday, I have to make this weekly report, right?
Do you think we can get a deal without military force? And the answer is?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Simple enough. Do you think we can get a deal without military force? She says, I don't think so. Listen why.
Thank you very much. A clean-cut answer. Why not?
Well, because the supreme leader is 86 years old, and he's the only person in Iran who can make a decision about the Iranian regime's nuclear program. And he is not going to give that up, give up its ballistic missile program, stop funding these terrorist groups throughout the region. These are all demands.
Damn, I do 86 years old. The leader of Iran? Damn.
That Secretary Rubio continues to make on the regime. So it's not just about the nuclear program, it's the ballistic missile program, it's the rest of the bad behavior in the regime, and there's no indication the supreme leader is willing to do that.
Simple enough. The supreme leader, the Iran's Ayatollah, he's not just going to give that up. He wants to continue to fund these proxies. He wants to continue to have his hands in these different areas. It's not just about the nuclear weapons. And we even heard today that they were saying that if you can separate the nuclear talks from everything else, we could strike a deal. But President Trump is saying no, because that nuclear talk is probably the biggest part of it. This is huge. I want to play you something else though. This is what President Trump had to say.
Midnight Hammer. They were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, in particular nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out and they want to start all over again. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon.
President talking about Iran from his big speech this week, the State of the Union. Third round of nuclear talks are underway right now. And we are many days into President Trump's ultimatum to Iran to reach a deal within 10 or 15 days.
Yeah, 10 or 15 days. We're coming up to the end of that. Okay, that was what he issued that ultimatum last week. We have, I think, less than a week left. Again, this is why some are saying this weekend could be it. Sometimes Saturday or Sunday, it could be it. It just depends on if the United States is fully prepared. Because according to experts last week, the United States is prepared to strike. But what the United States was not prepared for is for a retaliation. According to multiple sources, Iran is just waiting to retaliate. They know it's coming. They have already anticipated it. They're trying to get China to support them in a way, right, which China has. But now they're just waiting for a strike so then they can retaliate. That's what we're hearing. Listen to this, though.
Trey, what is your sense of how these talks have gone in Geneva and what this buildup in the whole region, including in Israel, looks like?
Martha, good afternoon. It's a great question. And according to Oman's foreign minister, the man who was mediating these indirect conversations today in Geneva, Switzerland, there was significant progress made, and technical details, according to the foreign minister, are going to be discussed next week in Austria. We have heard this cautious optimism before, and that's why you see this massive military buildup across the region. And here in Israel, officials preparing for the possibility that war erupts in the days ahead. And so while there is initial optimism, and the Iranians are telling their state media outlets that they will go back to the capital of Tehran and discuss the technical details, there is still a tension in the air across the Middle East, understanding that if these talks fail, the region is headed into conflict.
Yeah. So Israel is already preparing for this. Again, I've been talking about this for the past few weeks. Israel knows it's happening. A regional war is going to happen. It is going to take place. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, according to reports.
Take that in real quick. So a regional war is an armed conflict concentrated with a specific geographic area, such as involves multiple nations, proxy forces. Like go over the finance, focus on one region. Got loads more to what he was saying in that.
Because every single White House official, every single former military generals, all these people have been saying the exact same thing, that Iran can't be trusted. President Trump said this from the beginning, that it makes sense that all these presidents are trying to negotiate and do all this stuff, but they've been in the exact same position for decades. Nothing has changed. So why would we assume that a new round of negotiations is going to all of a sudden change things? It's the same leader. It's the same guy. Things aren't changing. I want to play this just a little bit more of this.
Martha?
Jennifer, thank you, Trey. What is your sense from Pentagon sources? Obviously, they are ready, and potentially a comparison to what we saw in Venezuela, and what signs we can read right now about where this is going.
Well, I think what I'm looking at right now are a few things. First of all, the Gerald R. Ford Aircraft Carrier Strike Group, which everybody's been watching, it was in Suda Bay, Crete, getting resupply, getting munitions. It is now moving east toward Israel, and it will be in position off the coast of Israel tomorrow. Then we also have the F-22s. The F-22s, another squadron, was moved on Tuesday from Lakenheath in the UK to Israel. It's the first time F-22s have ever been based in Israel, and it suggests that that is a location that they would be safer than if they were at other locations across the Gulf, where typically the U.S. would keep its warplanes. So there is a positioning of assets so that if the president takes a decision following these talks, a decision that the talks have failed, then there would be a massive air and naval campaign that would likely target not only the three nuclear sites that they targeted last summer, but also the IRGC. It's not clear whether this is about regime change. We've heard very confusing messages from the Secretary of State and even Steve Witkoff in recent days, suggesting that it's also about the ballistic missiles, that Steve Witkoff says that Iran is a week away from having a nuclear bomb. That is not the case based on intelligence people that I know who are familiar with the intelligence. But
right there, okay? So one of the things that she just said is that Steve Witkoff says that they're a week away from having a ballistic missile. They're a nuclear missile. They're not, okay? They're still a little ways away. But here's the thing. We've been hearing this for some time. Now, some are trying to spread that and saying that, yeah, they're close, so we need to attack. No, according to multiple sources, they are not close. Okay, they just aren't. But the United States doesn't want them to get close enough either. And so that's why it is pretty much a done deal. The United States is going to strike. It's just a matter of when. And then where. You heard it here. Yes, they'll likely strike the three nuclear facilities, but they'll likely strike other places as well, because it might not just be about this the nuclear weapons, but also regime change as well. Because if we have regime change, then they may actually kind of go along a little bit better with the United States or the surrounding countries. So,
okay, so you heard what he said, man. All right. It's still gonna be fought as a proxy war, not actually directly. The Iran and U.S. are moving assets and equipment, in those regions. All right, to prepare themselves to, go to war. All right, and all these other nations, like when Trump with the Greenland situation, you had a lot of EU nations. They move their military assets up in there to defend Greenland. All right, or Denmark, on Denmark's behalf. Okay, so these other nations, man, I'm gonna read it too, and they getting ready, man. They getting ready for the World War III, the war to end all wars. All right, that's why all these things are boiling up, man. They're brewing up. Okay, and it's happening in a gradual timing. Okay, this thing ain't gonna be, immediate thing just because they talk about it in the news. It's more complex than that. Okay, that's why you gotta watch these news stations. The guys that are experts on it. You have like military vets and guys who used to be in the service. They speak on these alternative news stations. They tell you how the shit works. Okay. And yeah, man. Let me see what this dude Trump said, because he said, "Hold on, longer." Trump. What should I say? Well, I guess he gave him different amount of days, but he gave him a time limit, man, of when he if they don't reach that nuclear deal, Trump gonna strike, not hit Iran directly, just might attack their resources, man. Okay. Certain bases or areas where they have interest, you know what I'm saying? They have assets there that's gonna hurt them economically. Alright, that's how they're gonna do. And Iran said they're gonna do the same thing. Where they gonna hit, because America has military bases all over the world, and Iran might hit them military bases. So it's gonna be a tit for tat type thing. Alright. And this like I said, just because they're saying this, it ain't gonna mean it's gonna be World War III. You know what I'm saying? This is a checkers game, because then we know the mark gotta come. Because the mark of the beast gotta come before World War III, and not only that, the total collapse of the system where it's full blown wild west, no laws. A purge type deal out here in America. Alright. Like what's going on there in Mexico, right? So this is Joel 3 and 3 and 7 says, behold, 3 and 8 it says, no, my fault. Joel 3:9 says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. That's what's happening. We seen it. You just saw the news clip I just played. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, that the weak say, I am strong. So the Most High putting spirit on these other nations, alright, and to not invest their money into fixing up their infrastructure or into their economy, but into war, into weapons. Okay, things that they need to go to battle. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about. There they cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's Yahweh's judgment. That's what it means. Jehoshaphat, Yahweh. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord's gathering all these nations to fight in Thursday war. It's a judgment. Alright. Put your sickle where the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, fast overflowing, and the wickedness is great. Yet in any society throughout history, Most High will always let a kingdom reach the pinnacle of its wickedness, and then that's when the Lord will take it down. Okay, and that's what we're seeing with it here in America. It is reaching that cap. It's a cap the Most High got to, where a kingdom reaches wickedness, and that's when the Lord does a reset. Okay. Motus in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh was near, the valley of decision. The sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining, because that's what nuclear missiles do. You saw in the movies, at least that mushroom cloud, all that fucking dark smoke and stuff, and all that debris and dust, and the nuclear missile clouds. Just look on the video. That's what it does. I was on that. So the Lord is he's making his word to be known amongst everybody, and he's bringing it to pass. All right. Matthew 24:6. It says, "And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See ye be ye not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So yeah, so when you hear about these, Yahweh telling disciples, back then and even for these times right now, because there's such things as reincarnation, that when you see and hear all these things, it said, "Be ye not troubled," because they gotta happen in order for the kingdom to come about. And then said, he even went as far as saying the end's not yet. So when you hear these things, the end is not even yet, because other prophecies got to take place before that. And mind you, we read 2 Ezra 13 chapter. See, the Lord, he pretty much gave us the blueprint on how this thing is going to pan out. All right. We know the destruction and utter chaos of America, where the system breaks down. All right. And you have mayhem in the streets. That got to come first. And then the mark of the beast got to come, and then World War III. In that order, man. In that order. All right. What was that on that? Oh yeah. So that's why I typed in 2. Because if they strike Iran, and whatever region, as far as it's going to hurt them economically, Iran's going to retaliate back. All right, so I typed this in, right, because when you look at Strait of Hormuz, kind of. So as you can see, it was the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is a strait between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. It provides the only sea passages from the Persian Gulf to open ocean and is one of the world's most strategically important choke points. Right, so then that's where a lot of oil and different other different other what's what I look for, provisions come through by way of ships. Okay, by way of ships. And if I'm gonna read it. So, see, it tells you right here, shipping lane, which Iran has control of that, man. Damn, I keep fucking flipping. Here it is right here. You can see it on the map. Strait of Hormuz. Which you mean? Fuck, I'm trying to see if I can go up, man. So there you go. Iran right there. And you see where the arrow's at? That's the Strait of Hormuz, which that's in the region where Iran's at. And they have the majority power of over that passageway, where they're in charge of it. They can decide what who's coming in, who's coming out. All right. And so now I typed this in Google, said what is, damn it. What's that? Shit. Go back. Damn, I might have took it out. Let me see. Oh, here you go. I said, I typed in what happens if Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, right? This is AR said, it says, If Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, it would trigger a severe global energy crisis, potentially causing oil prices to spike well above $130 per barrel and disrupting roughly 20% of the world's daily oil consumption. The actions would likely lead to immediate military intervention by U.S.-led coalition reopening the vital waterway. As a massive disruption on the global economy will occur when shipping insurance premiums skyrocket, cargo vessels pausing and rerouting, energy crisis and trade crisis, with an 18 million barrels per day of non-Iranian oil potentially at risk. Gasoline and fuel prices will sharply increase, affecting logistics and global manufacturing, particularly in China. The economy is connected globally. All right, so the rate all this merchandise and items get sent to different parts of the world. Okay, it's due away of vehicles. Okay, whether it be airplanes, whether it be ships, whether it be boats. Train. That's it. Just like a trains, airplanes. Yeah, things of that nature where you need gasoline to to travel. That would fuck up everything. Man. That would further cause the economy to implode itself. All right, so this is what I typed in too. I said, it's the Strait of Hormuz, right? I'm gonna close on this. If Strait of Hormuz is closed, how much would gasoline be per gallon? Go back. This is what it says. If the Strait of Hormuz were closed, U.S. gas prices could quickly surge between $5 and $7 per gallon. God damn. That's how it is in California right now. You see how California doing. That's how it be everywhere, man. Man, listen, ain't nobody going nowhere, man. If gas is $5 to $7, oh damn, that's gonna be fucking crazy. Yeah, it's gonna get real. And this dude, DJ Trump's talking about doing that, man. But this is spirit is out here. That's how the Lord is working on the minds of these leaders. It says, driven by oil potentially exceeding $130 per barrel because of 20% of the world's oil passes through this checkpoint. It said the world's oil, all right, is passing through there. A closure would severely disrupt supply, causing a massive and rapid price increase. Yeah, so the supply chain gonna be fucked up again. Okay. All merchandise is gonna create a scarcity of merchandise. All right. And people ain't gonna be able to have the things that they get daily like they do right now. And especially over in America, people are spoiled. All right. They used to having the availability of options and and that choice of it just being always there. Americans have never had to deal with a lot of these countries that they have to go through all over the world, man. Okay, and that's the what talks about the whore was decked out with all types of jewelry and good clothing, and just had all these goodies, all right, because they stole everything. But yeah, man, so we see things heating up, and we see how Yahweh Shimon Shah's working his hand, all right, getting these prophecies happening and ending this man's kingdom and getting us some power. So hell yeah, man. Call on Yahweh Shimon Shah, and we pray that the Lord is continue to speed these things up so we can finally stop living this damn nightmare. all right, and get into our paradise, all right? And the world wants to, the world's gonna be at rest when we empower, man. All right. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna give all praise and glory to Yahweh. Shout out my sponsor, Elder Great Muslim. Let's go. Elect, few sisters, Israelite foreigners, shalom.